The antique vase exploded across the marble floor like a bomb had gone off in our living room. My heart stopped as I stared at the shattered pieces of David's most prized possession, the one thing he'd explicitly told me never to touch. "Sarah! What the hell was that?" David's voice boomed from upstairs, each footstep thundering down like a judge's gavel. My hands trembled as I dropped to my knees, desperately trying to gather the ceramic fragments. This wasn't just any vase. This was the vase his grandmother had left him, the one he claimed was worth more than my car, the one he polished every Sunday like it was made of pure gold. "I'm sorry, I'm so sorry," I whispered to myself, my voice barely audible over the sound of my racing heartbeat. David appeared in the doorway, his face twisted in rage. "You clumsy, worthless," he stopped mid-sentence, his eyes scanning the destruction. "Do you have any idea what you've done?" I flinched at his words, feeling smaller with each passing second. "David, please, I was just dusting and..." "Dusting?" He laughed bitterly. "I told you 1,000 times never to touch that vase. It was priceless, Sarah. Priceless." Tears stung my eyes as I continued picking up pieces, cutting my finger on a sharp edge. "I'll replace it, I promise. I'll find another one just like it." "Replace it?" His voice was venomous. "You can't even hold down a decent job, and you think you can replace a family heirloom?" The words hit me like physical blows. I'd been trying so hard to be the perfect wife, cleaning his house, cooking his meals, staying quiet when he came home in a bad mood. And still, it was never enough. But then, as I reached for a larger piece near the fireplace, something caught my eye. Something that shouldn't have been there. Hidden among the ceramic shards was a small, folded piece of paper. My breath caught in my throat as I carefully unfolded it, my hands shaking so violently I could barely read the words. "David, last night was incredible. I can't wait until you leave her. M." The world tilted sideways. My vision blurred as I read the note again, hoping I'd misunderstood. But there it was, in feminine handwriting, a love note hidden inside my husband's precious vase. "Sarah, are you listening to me?" David's voice seemed to come from underwater. "I said you're going to pay for this, one way or another." I stood up slowly, the note clutched in my trembling hand. My legs felt like they might give out at any moment. "David," my voice was barely a whisper. "What is this?" His face went white as he saw the paper. For the first time in our 3-year marriage, David was speechless. "Sarah, that's not I can explain." "Explain what?" My voice was getting stronger, fury replacing shock. "Explain why there's a love note from another woman hidden in your grandmother's vase. Explain why she's talking about you leaving me." David's mouth opened and closed like a fish gasping for air. "It's not what you think." "Then what is it, David?" "Because it looks like you've been using your precious vase as a mailbox for your affair." The front door slammed shut, and footsteps echoed through the hallway. "David, I brought the wine you asked for." A woman's voice. A familiar woman's voice. My blood turned to ice as Michelle, my own sister, appeared in the doorway holding a bottle of expensive red wine. Her smile vanished the moment she saw me standing there with the note in my hand and ceramic pieces scattered around my feet. "Oh," she breathed, her face draining of color. The silence stretched between us like a live wire. 3 people frozen in a moment that would change everything. "Michelle," I said her name like it was poison. "How long?" She glanced at David, panic written across her features. "Sarah, we never meant for you to find out like this." "How long?" I screamed, my voice echoing off the walls. David stepped forward, hands raised as if approaching a wild animal. "Sarah, calm down. Let's talk about this rationally. Rationally. I laughed, but it sounded more like a sob. You want me to be rational about finding out my husband and my sister have been using a family heirloom to pass love notes behind my back? Michelle's lips trembled. It started 6 months ago. We didn't plan it, Sarah. It just happened. 6 months. The words felt like glass in my throat. 6 months of lying to my face. 6 months of family dinners where you sat across from me, knowing you were sleeping with my husband. David tried to grab my arm. Sarah, please. I jerked away from him. Don't touch me. Don't you dare touch me. That's when I heard the slow, deliberate sound of someone clapping. We all turned toward the front door where my father stood, his face a mask of cold fury I'd only seen once before, when my mother had cheated on him 15 years ago. Well, Dad said, his voice deadly calm. Isn't this a touching family reunion? David's confidence crumbled completely. Mr. Harrison, this isn't. Shut up. Dad's voice cut through the air like a blade. I came to surprise my daughter with tickets to that show she wanted to see. Instead, I find my youngest daughter and my son-in-law destroying my eldest daughter's life. Michelle started crying. Daddy, please. You're not my daughter right now, he said, his words sharp as winter. Not after what I just witnessed. Dad turned to me, his expression softening. Sarah, pack your bags. You're coming home. She's not going anywhere, David said, finding his voice again. This is her home. We can work through this. Dad stepped closer to David, his 6-foot frame towering over my husband. You lost the right to call her your wife the moment you betrayed her trust. And with her own sister, no less. I looked at David, really looked at him, seeing him clearly for the first time in months. The man who had made me feel small, worthless, and clumsy. The man who had been cheating on me while I cleaned his house and cooked his meals. You're right, Dad, I said, my voice steady for the first time all day. This isn't my home anymore. David's face crumpled. Sarah, don't do this. I love you. I made a mistake, but I love you. No, I said, stepping over the broken pieces of the vase that had revealed his lies. You loved having someone to take care of you while you played house with my sister. There's a difference. As I walked past Michelle, she grabbed my arm. Sarah, please forgive me. I never wanted to hurt you. I looked into her eyes, the same eyes I trusted my whole life. You didn't just hurt me, Michelle. You destroyed us. Both of you. 3 hours later, I was in my childhood bedroom, surrounded by the few belongings I decided were worth taking. The note from the vase sat on my nightstand, evidence of a betrayal I never saw coming. Dad knocked on my door. How are you holding up? I keep thinking I should feel more broken, I admitted. But mostly, I feel free. He smiled sadly. Sometimes the worst betrayals are also the best revelations. They show us who people really are, and more importantly, who we really are. That night, as I lay in my old bed staring at the ceiling, I realized something profound. The vase breaking wasn't an accident, it was the universe's way of shattering the illusion I'd been living in. David had called 17 times. Michelle had sent 12 text messages. I deleted them all without reading. Sometimes the most beautiful discoveries come from the most painful breaks. That broken vase didn't just reveal my husband's betrayal, it revealed my own strength. I'd spent so long tiptoeing around his anger and criticism that I'd forgotten I deserved better. The truth doesn't always set you free gently. Sometimes it shatters your world into 1,000 pieces. But from those pieces, you can build something stronger, something that's truly yours.